Made an old lady very happy. Talking of money, at what age did you stop giving it to your kids? One woman has cut off her lifelong friend because she's fed up of her being bankrolled by her parents, still accepting money from her well-to-do parents at the age of 49. Don't know if it's any of her business, quite frankly, but is it OK to give your adult kids money if you are able to do so, Jane?
I think so, yeah, but I think what you have to do is, if you see that they've got a full-time job, might not earn a lot, but they're making a lot of effort. They're struggling to keep their head above water. If you've got money, pass it over. Why not? There's that old phrase, give with warm hands.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of parents do that. A lot of parents maybe pay bills or something along the way. It's a very tax-efficient way of passing your money on as well. But we don't know the background to this story, but maybe if his friend has never had a job and is sponging off her parents, that is what annoys them.
Yeah, though, as I say, I don't know why it's any of their business.
Well, I suppose because it must be like your character. It's like, it's not really about the money. It would be like, wow, God, actually, you know, you've got nothing about you in all these years that you'd want to get a job. You would kind of lose respect for that person, wouldn't you, over a period of time?
Yeah.
But anyway, but I think, I'm kind of the same as Jane. Like, you know, and culturally it's very different. You know, my father's Jordanian, and very much within our culture, you just keep helping and helping and helping. It strengthens all the family. That's the thinking. And my dad helped us out a lot when we were growing up. You know, when I bought my first house, and I shouldn't say my dad, my mum and my dad, and if I was in dire straits, I would go to my mum and dad, and that's
nice to know you've got that.
Yeah, and that I wouldn't want to just say the bank is closed and that's it. But because we come from a creatives family, we're all self-employed. My dad was self-employed all his life. You know, we know that there's peaks and troughs. You know, so like it kind of becomes, we're all grafters. But there are periods of time when some of us aren't earning, so we help each other out. But if I had a kid that was just lying around smoking and drinking all day and not wanting to do anything, then the bank would close. But if they were striving... And you know what? I just can't believe how much more expensive living is becoming in every single way.
It's so different in your 20s now to, say, 20 years ago. Yeah. I think I wouldn't want to enable entitlement and laziness, and I would try and be solution-led, where I might offer my children a loan with no interest, or I might invest in them to do an evening course to diversify their income so they could kind of upskill and say, look, I will help you with this, but I'm not going to pay for your lifestyle. I mean, for me, I moved out really young, but I always knew the door was open to go back, and then my life was in dire straits. And when I went back, my mum and dad welcomed me. I didn't pay rent, I didn't pay bills. And then my mum had to take compassionate leave and my dad worked overtime. And I'm not from a wealthy family, so then when I was in the position to pay some of it back, I did. But I lived there knowing I could, but they also encouraged me to become independent again. And I think that was good. I think that's helped.
That must have aided your recovery, right?
It did, yeah.
It would be quite hard, wouldn't it? Because you've got to be cruel to be kind in that situation. Because if I was your mum, I would have wanted to go to stay here all the time. You're all fine. But that was the right thing to do.
I suppose the thing also, when you become an adult, OK, you're still a child, but you are an adult.
Yeah.
And so the relationship has to be a relationship, yes, between parent and child, but also between adult and adult. And hopefully, in that instance, you help each other out. And there will be times that your parents need some help, you know, whether that is caring help or financial help. And if you're in a position to give it, then I would expect that you would. But
isn't that family?
It's different from, you know, a dependent child. When you become adults, it's a different relationship.
You know, we all, you know, read about them in the papers a lot, don't you? They call them trustafarians, and they've had money from the outset, and it sometimes robs them of ambition.
Yeah. To always know you're going to have a big chunk of money. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. Well, and in this instance, I mean, if these parents are well-to-do, presumably when they die, the person gets the money anyway in some form or other. How unhappy would you be? You
know, I always say, and this might sound extreme, but I think to really spoil a child is a kind of abuse, because what you do is you send them out into a world that doesn't care. Like, doesn't care that they're mummy's little darling. It's difficult to make friendships. It's difficult to get a job. It's difficult to work because you haven't been taught that life is, you know, it's a give and take situation. I think it's awful to spoil a child and make them think they can have everything that they want.
It is, but I think it's also terrible when you're in a situation where you would love to help your children, maybe get on the property ladder or buy a roadworthy car that's not going to be dangerous, and you just can't, and you haven't got the funds to do that, and you really want to help your children. You know, it's not even getting ahead nowadays. You know, your parents buying you a car. Life is so expensive. That's just really helping you get from A to B in your job.
Your weekly shop.
I
Price
think
of
there'll be
butter.
a lot of people in that
butter
situation.
keeps getting smaller and smaller, and it gets more and more expensive.
She's gone to Lurpak. There we go.
It's just... I can't believe it.
That turned into a really kind of regular... Have you seen the price of butter these days?
It's true.
It's funny, I was in a shop yesterday, it was some blooming eye makeup remover, and I did do that. Like,
Crazy.
Lots to come after 1. We are...